Have you been looking for a reason to buy one of the collector booster packs in the new Bloomburrow set? Well, I might have 300 reasons why you should do so. Today, I'm going to cover the top 10 most expensive cards in the new Bloomburrow set. We are nearly a week out from the release of the set on August 2nd. This is technically August 10th. So we're a week and a day. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the top 10 most expensive cards in the Bloomburrow set as they are listed on TCG Player as of this evening when I'm recording this. And this is changing rapidly. Actually, in the process of setting up this video, prices changed and I had to reorient the top 10 already. So this is a point in time. We will keep that in mind, but some of these cards are worth some pretty dollars. So might be worth snagging a pack every now and then when you swing into your LGS. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the top 10 most expensive cards in the Bloomburrow set is. Starting with number 10, we have Mira, Trash Tactician. It's a borderless raised foil. This is going to be a very common theme that we're going to see. Almost, I think every single one of these are borderless raised foil. So those can only be found in the collector booster packs, which are the more expensive packs, and it's for a reason. So Mira Trash Tactician is a 3 CMC 2/4 legendary creature raccoon warrior that at the beginning of your first main phase add a red or a green for each raccoon you control. Whenever you expend 4, you gain 3 life. Whenever you expend 8, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So life gain, card generation, card draw, and mana generation. So it's a pretty solid card on top of having a really sweet art. And this one is going for $119.99, again, as of this evening, as of the recording. So this will change very rapidly throughout the week even. So keep an eye on these. But that's a pretty good reason to grab a collector booster pack. So what is in position number 9? Well, we are going to find Alania, Divergent Storm. Again, another borderless raised foil. Alania is a 5 CMC 3/5 legendary creature otter wizard. And whenever you cast a spell, if it's the first instant spell, the first sorcery spell, or the first otter spell, other than Alania you've cast this turn, you may have target opponent draw a card. If you do, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So that's a fun little trickster card. This one's going for $120.81, so only 82 cents more than the last card, but still a pretty penny for what are the collector boosters going for now? Like 15 bucks for a pack. So what, may you ask, is in position number 8? We're going to find ourselves Mabel. This is the key card for the set. You see it in all the advertising, all the marketing. You see Mabel, heir to the Cragflame. Again, it's a borderless raised foil card. Mabel is a 3 CMC 3/3 legendary creature mouse soldier. Other mice you control get +1/+1. When Mabel, heir to the Cragflame, enters, create Cragflame, a legendary colorless equipment artifact token with equipped creature gets +1/+1, has vigilance, trample, and haste, and it has an equip cost of 2. So I'm still waiting for this token to drop because I'm wondering what the token will go for this particular card. But I have seen this played in paper against me. Maybe one time I've seen it in arena draft, but it is a nice, powerful card, low cost, giving everything a buff, and gives you an equipment to be able to attach to things. And this card is currently going for $133.50. Let's take a look now at what is in position number 7. We're going to find Zoraline, Cosmos Caller. It's a 3 CMC 3/3 legendary creature bat cleric. It has flying and vigilance, and when a bat you control attacks, you gain 1 life. Whenever Zoraline enters or attacks, you may pay 1 white and 1 black and 2 life. When you do, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Great for pulling more bats or creatures that have died out of your graveyard, put them back onto the field. And this card is currently going for $139.75 on TCG Player. So what is in position number 6? we're going to find Gev Scaled Scorch. Another borderless raised foil. It's a 2 CMC legendary creature lizard mercenary that is a 3/2. Has a ward of pay 2 life. Other creatures you control enter with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. That is actually going to be pretty nice for commander decks. If you're able to ping everybody at the table at least once, and then everything that you play after that will get 3 1/1 counters on it, which is pretty nuts. And then whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev Scale Scorch deals 1 damage to target opponent. So there is a lot of lizard cards that you can just tap and do 1 damage, or artifacts or enchantments that allow for just pinging 1 damage out there. So that's going to be a really nice card, I think, in some commander decks. And it's kind of fun to play in limited formats like draft if you can get some good synergies going with lizards. You're not going to get as big a card. It's only going to be 1/1 counter, but you'll be able to buff things as they come in. And this card is currently going for $139.84. So what card do we find at the halfway mark in position number 5? Well, that's going to be Bloomburrow of the Woods. This is a 6 CMC star legendary creature, Elemental Bear. I actually really like this card. I've played it once in Arena Draft. Had a lot of fun with it, but it is a Vigilance Reach that its power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. And then when Bloomburrow enters, mill 4 cards and then return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So I actually put this down, and I think it was originally a 6/6, milled 4 cards, and 3 of those happened to be lands, and that thing was a 9/9 sitting on the field. And that's a big threat, especially in draft. Can be really fun for those land generation decks. So if you are playing green dominance or something like that and constructed, or you have a land generation commander deck, this could be a really fun big creature to slam down on the table. And this one is going for $148.48. Again, it's a borderless raise. So again, all of these are going to be borderless raise. So collector booster packs are where you find these. So what's in number 4? We find Vren the Relentless, another borderless raised foil card going for 4 CMC. That's a 3/4 legendary creature, Rat Rogue. Has ward 2. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of each end step, create X 1/1 black rat creature tokens. With this creature, gets +1/+1 for each other rat you control, where X is the number of creatures your opponents controlled that were exiled this turn. So you could have some really nice combos if you're exiling a board state, make a bunch of rats, slam your rats down. They're huge. They all buff each other. So again, this would be a really fun commander card. So I see why a lot of folks are jumping on it, why the price is going up on it. This could potentially go off in a constructed format, but there's only so many cards on the other side of the table. Maybe if you were playing like a Boros Energy with like an Ocelot Pride that just made 20 cats or something, and then you just wiped it and then slammed this down and made a bunch of rats, and then they all buffed each other, and then you swang in. So it could be a good counter combo in that particular instance. But again, I think a lot of these are gaining in popularity because of commander use. And so it's always something to keep a lookout on for. I haven't seen much use of this in the drafting. There's not a lot of removal options for like board wipes in Bloomburrow. I think there's only 2, maybe 3, depending on how you want to count it, board wipes. So it's not like you're going to be able to wipe the board and exile all those creatures and then lay down a bunch of rats and win the game. So it is mostly going to be in that constructed or commander format. But this card is going for $148.69 on TCG Player. So if I had some drums to do, we would do some drums. We're going to get into the top 3 most expensive and cards in the Bloomburrow set as of August 10th. So a week and a day out from the release of the set. So what do we find in number 3? But Camellia, the Seed Miser. Again, a borderless raised foil card. It is a 3 CMC, 3/3 legendary creature, Squirrel Warlock. It has Menace. Other squirrels you control have Menace. And whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. And then you can pay 2, forage, put a 1/1 counter on each other squirrel you control. So this can actually pop off in draft. This is insane. There is a 1/1 squirrel that gets a +1/+1 for every squirrel and food token that you have on the board. So this can just continue to buff that with more 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. And then as you generate more squirrels, they're just buffing each other, getting bigger. So this would go great, again, in a commander deck, especially a squirrel commander deck. This is making me want to kind of build a squirrel commander deck. I think this would be actually a lot of fun. And for a little fun fact about good old Half Pump here, my old gamer tag used to be Ardilla, which was squirrel in Spanish. Don't go try taking it. I've already claimed Ardilla on almost all the platforms. So that is my old gamer tag, but I switched to Half Pump a long time ago. So I really do like squirrels. I like the theme squirrel. My game mat or my play mat is a squirrel themed. But this card is going for $152.23, probably specifically for those squirrel commander decks that are out there that people really like to play. So moving on to position number 2 is Balin the Haymaker. Again, a borderless raised foil. It is a 3 CMC, actually 3 color, which is kind of rare, or is really rare in the Bloomburrow set. 4/3 legendary creature, a rabbit warrior that has tap 2 untapped tokens you control, add 1 mana of any color. Tap 3 untapped tokens you control, draw a card. Tap 4 untapped tokens you control, put 3 1/1 counters on Balin the Haymaker. It gains trample until end of turn. So running 3 cards is pretty hard in Bloomburrow, and especially in draft. Some people have managed to do it. It is not one of the most popular formats. I'm actually going to do another video that you'll see later this week where I will show you some of the top metas and for drafting in Bloomburrow. And going 3 colors is pretty far down on the list. But if you can get this, splash a 3rd color, go pretty heavy white-green, which is rabbits, splash red, and then get those rabbit tokens generating. All of a sudden, now we have tokens that we can tap, and we can make Balin the Haymaker do some really interesting things. It's actually so hard to play. I saw this card wheel twice in an arena draft because nobody wanted to grab 3 color. But it would go really well in sort of a rabbit commander deck. I wouldn't steer away from it necessarily in drafting if you're already solidly in rabbits and have a good way to splash a 3rd color. But it is going for $190.75. If we look at the little chart down here, you can see it's come down a little bit. So it was up a little bit over 190, and it's kind of started to come down a little bit, but it's at $190.75, so it's still a pretty good card. So, without further ado, what is in the number 1 spot? I kind of gave it away a little bit about how much is in it for you if you pull one of these cards. But we're going to be looking at Ral, Crackling Wit, Borderless Raised, is the most expensive card in the Bloomburrow set as of August 10th, 2004. It is a 4 CMC legendary Planeswalker. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a loyalty counter on Ral, Crackling Wit. You can +1 it by creating a 1/1 blue and red otter creature token with prowess. You can -3 it, draw 3 cards, then discard 2, so it gives you some card churn. And then you can -10 it for draw 3 cards. You get an emblem with instant and sorcery spells you cast have storm. So this can go really well into a storm deck. If you have a spell-heavy commander deck, obviously would go really well. I have seen this in draft, and it's kind of hard to get blue-red to do what you want it to do. It's very card dependent. But if you can get a decent amount, say like 10-ish spells to be able to cast, this is a really good way to start getting bodies on the board. There are some direct damage cards in the set, so this can get pinged. There are some good evasion techniques to get over your cards or under your cards. So it can take damage pretty easily. So it's hard to kind of keep the Planeswalker alive. But it is still a really solid card and is going for $279.99. It was a little bit over the 280 mark. You can even see here in the bottom corner that there was some cards latest sale at $320. So I had told you in the beginning, if you wanted 300 reasons why you might want to collect or snag a collector's booster pack, that's going to be one of those reasons. If you get Ral, Crackling Wit, definitely worth your pull. So let me know in the comments, are you going to be snagging a collector's booster pack every now and then in the hopes of grabbing one of these cards? Do any of these make sense for your commander or specialty builds or constructed builds? Let me know. I would love to see what people are doing with these expensive cards. These were some of my educated guesses, how they fit into draft and maybe some competitive formats. So until next time, I really appreciate the views, the subscribes if you're enjoying the video. I'm covering a ton of content on Magic the Gathering. I'll be doing news pieces, box openings, reviews like this. And then, of course, every Monday through Thursday, I will be doing draft on twitch.tv/halfpump. But you can find the recordings the next day at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Follow along with me as I go from bronze to mythic, hopefully, in the new Bloomburrow draft, as well as be documenting my journey for Path to Pro, where I'm trying to qualify for the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. So I will be doing draft events in person, RCQs or regional championship qualifiers in person. I'll be documenting that journey on my Twitter and my Instagram as well. So until next time, everybody, I appreciate it. Take it easy, and we'll catch you at the table.